All right, what is going on, everybody? Bit of a different video for Monday. We're going to talk about the Timberwolves and why they are in the middle of the pack. Some of the mistakes they made leading into this season, um, some of the mistakes they made during the season, and the imminent future for them without their cornerstone in Karl Anthony Towns. If you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment them down below. And if you just like the vibe overall, maybe subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. And we're going to hit some NBA games that are coming up this week at the end of the video. So stick around for that. Let's jump right into it, man. The Wolves are one game under 500. They're 9-10 on the season. Um, they snapped a four-game losing streak the other night when they got the victory against Clippers, a 93 win to the Clippers 92. Leading scorer was Anthony Edwards with 21 points. Um, yeah, I don't necessarily want to talk about their games in particular or what's been going on game to game, more so what's happened so far during the season and what happened obviously in the offseason. They acquired Julius Randle for their cornerstone in Karl Anthony Towns. Um, I'm not the biggest Cat fan. I'm not the biggest Julius Randle fan. So you aren't gonna hear me say anything too positive or too negative. I feel like I'm more of a biased party, or a non-biased party, I should say, in this, because I am not even a Wolves fan, so a completely unbiased opinion. Um, we can just dive into the stats and just get an overall grasp of things before I start giving my opinions on the mistakes and everything. I might have hinted at my feelings about this team and the Carl and Julius trade through my past videos. Um, I just really want to dive into it this video because I said I would. So here we are. Um, their team leader in points is Anthony Edwards. No big surprise there. Um, re- rebounder leader is Rudy Gobert. The assist leader is Mike Conley with only 4.6. Steals is also Mike Conley, almost two. And blocks is Rudy Gobert, 1.5. Um, when you take a look at this team, you see the guys like Anthony, like Naz Reid, like McDaniels, like Alexander Walker, like Dillingham, who you would assume are the future of this franchise, right? Going into the way future. Um, and these guys are very good for their role. Like I said, Ant with 27 points per game, Naz Reid with 13, McDaniels with 10, Alexander Walker with almost 10, Rob Dillingham, who hasn't played a lot. He hasn't started a single game, but he's played 11 games. He averages about 8 minutes. These are guys that have either grown into their role or are going to continue to grow. Um, and the the how do I say this? The goal with a team is to always maintain some sort of youth, but also maintain a competitiveness. And I think the Wolves did that very well last year. Um, they had some injuries last year as well, but you made it to the Western Conference Finals, and you did it with Ant, Carl, and Rudy. And Ant's a very young player to have already been to the Western Conference Finals. Carl had never been to the Western Conference Finals pre Anthony Edwards. Not to say it was all Anthony Edwards, but he kind of shot them into a different stratosphere. And when he got drafted there, they weren't necessarily competing, but he also sped up the process to compete. And I say all that to say guys like Julius Randle, guys like Rudy Gobert, mainly those two, they are what they are. They're not going to get any better. They are not. They could perhaps get worse, but that's only with age, or in Julius's case, when he's just not used correctly. And I really like Julius. This is going back. Some of you guys not remember this. I really like Julius when he was on the Pelicans. Julius Randle was at his best, in my opinion. I know he wasn't an All Star. I know he wasn't. I think he might have been All NBA or something. I can't remember, and he might have won Most Improved Player there as well. Or I don't even remember when he won Most Improved Player, but he was in the conversation. Forgive me, I'm not up to date on my Julius Randle lore or his history, but this is before he was an All Star. I really liked his role there, and he was very good, and he was very unselfish. He still had some of those moments where you're like, yeah, he is a black hole, but you had Anthony Davis, you had DeMarcus Cousins, you had um, Rondo. I think that they were all on that team, right? Rondo, you had um, oh God, Drew Holiday, and you had um, who's the coach? I can't remember his name. He was a halfway decent coach, not the best. But my point being is that he that was the best version of Julius Randle. Was the third option. Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is Rudy Gobert. A couple nights ago, Julius Randle had the ball, and you had um, Rudy Gobert in the paint, and Julius was like, "Heck no, I'm not giving that thing to you. You don't have a post move." And was Julius wrong for doing that? Yes, but was Rudy Gobert wrong for just standing there and getting the violation in the paint? Yes. And I believe Ant went up to Julius and was like, "Hey, just get rid of the ball. Just give it to him. If he gets the violation, he gets the violation. It's his fault, not yours." You know, I'm quoting what I think he would have said, something to that effect, right? But to Rudy Gobert, I'm not the biggest Rudy Gobert fan. I think he's overrated. Um, in almost every aspect except blocking a shot and just standing there, which if you think is a valuable skill, okay, you got me beat there. But he's topped out. Rudy Gobert is how old's Rudy Gobert? Rudy Gobert is 32, right? He's not getting any better. This is what he is. He's a defensive guy, and his bag is probably as deep as a paper bag. You know, it's very limited. I'm listing these things off, and I'm sounding like a hater, but I don't think this is a well built team around Ant. That's not a hot take. This is something that's been talked about. Is it's been heating up even more that Dante DiVincenzo could get traded. Julius Randle, this was talked about when they acquired him. Even was he could get traded mid-season just to get him off the books, not have to deal with extending him, not have to deal with signing a new contract, not having to deal with losing him for nothing in the off season. Just do it now, even if his value is very low. Just do it now, right? I think that they should trade Dante DiVincenzo. I don't think he's happy there. When you're promised to play with your buddies that you went to Villanova with, and then you get shipped to Minnesota right before the season starts, I'd be pretty unhappy too. I'd be very unhappy. Um, only 9 points for him. His, I just don't think he's happy. And when you're not happy, you don't play your best basketball. Or when you feel like you're not being prioritized, because it did come out that he did want a bigger role in New York. But I also think that he just wants a bigger role in general. I'm not talking second option. I'm not talking first option. I just think he wants to be like a third option, like Clay Thompson esque, where you have the guy, you have the other guy, and then you have Dante DiVincenzo. I think this is crazy. I think the Mavs If they had Dante DiVincenzo instead of Clay Thompson, I think you get the same productivity and you get the same stuff at this point in Clay Thompson's career. I'm talking about if Dante was in that role. You know, I think that's the sort of thing Dante can strive at. Dante can give you a game where he goes off. You know, so I just feel as if this team is so poorly constructed, and this has been a theme throughout the Timberwolves' existence. Almost is not really putting a team around the main guy. It they tried to do it with Cat. They tried to do it with Cat. I'll give them credit. They tried to do it. They tried to. They had Andrew Wiggins. They had Jeff Teague. They had Taj Gibson. They had Jimmy Butler. They had all these guys, and what it came down to was them not being ready. You brought in a guy like Jimmy. He did the thing for them, got him in the playoffs, got him to win a couple games. I think, if my memory serves me right, but they never got far. That's because Wiggins at the time wasn't the Andrew Wiggins that he was when he won his ring with the Warriors. Karl Anthony Towns wasn't. He still is soft, but he didn't understand what it took to win, and he thought it was still his team, and Jimmy was like, "No, it's my team," and this and that, and we don't have to get into all that, but and then they just Jimmy just walked away, or he got traded to the Sixers, right? For pennies on the dollar. I don't think anybody from that Sixers trade is still on this team today. Some picks might be um, lingering here or there, but I don't think anything from that trade ever amounted to anything. You know, I could be incorrect. They could have taken Anthony Edwards with one of those picks, but that's neither here nor there. If you got Anthony Edwards for for Jimmy Butler, I think it'd be talked about more. You know what I mean? If the pick turned into Anthony Edwards, but just I also just want to go through um, quickly the team they faced in the Western Conference Finals last year, in the Dallas Mavericks, who went on to the finals and lost to the Celtics. Um, the Mavs are 13-8, so it's not like the Wolves are abysmal or terrible. They're just sitting there middle of the pack. And what would you say if what would you say if I said the Mavs are either underperforming or are the Wolves underperforming? I think they're both just okay right now in this moment. You're gonna have big losing streaks. The Mavs lost four in a row, and then they won four in a row, and they lost one, and then they won four in a row. They're putting together winning streaks. The Wolves have not been able to do that. The Wolves win three, they lose four. The Wolves win two, they lose four. So it's a back and forth thing, and just going through their schedule. Even before I started recording this video, they don't have an easy gap. It's four games of really hard of really other contenders or other people that are going to make the playoffs or in that realm, and then you get one game against a bad team, and then it's back to whatever the the, the bad teams, you know, and I just don't see a path forward unless they make a trade. Like, I'm looking through January, I'm looking through February now. I mean, February, or is this March? February, March. This is March, I believe, third month of the year. Um, yeah, March. Yeah, March. You got Utah. You got this is the 16th to the 24th. You got Utah. You got the Pacers. You got these are all. This is a homestand, by the way. You got Utah. You got the Pacers. You got New Orleans back to back. And then you go to Indiana. That's a stretch, but like that's so deep in the season, you could already be out of the play in picture, let alone the playoff picture. you know? But I say that to say, and to go back to, would they trade? Would they trade Dante or Julius? It's such a tight rope to walk because if they start to play better, you could say, oh, we could just we could make a playoff run again. Or do you just if they're playing well, do you just rip the band-aid off and trade them at their highest value? I don't know. I think you need to reshuffle the deck because Ant is in his I believe he's in it. This is his fourth year. Um, and once you get a taste of the finals, you want to go back. You know, as Chris Paul once said, I'm addicted. I'm addicted to going back to the conference finals or the finals, and he didn't make it back. That's neither here nor there. Yeah, this is one, two, three, four. This is the fifth year. Pardon me, fifth year. Um, he was an all star the past 2 years. Um, once you start getting early into your prime, you want to compete, and the West isn't slowing down for anybody, and the West is competitive. And I hate to be like hyperbolic about it, but like the Rockets are here. Do they stay here? Are they one of the best teams? Are they going to maintain? Are they going to be able to maintain being one of the best teams? Probably not. But they are here. They've shown they can win. The Spurs are coming. Um, the um, the, the Kings are just there. I'm trying to think. The Lakers, always with LeBron, are always going to be in some sort of contention or some sort of playoff mode. Um, so that all being said, could they trade for somebody? Could they hot fix this and appease Ant and appease um the fans, you guys, the fans of the Timberwolves, and go back to the Western Conference Finals? I don't think there's a trade out there that would do that, but I think there's a trade that could save the latter half of the season and go into next season. This is via Hoops Hype. I'm just going through the biggest articles towards the top. Um, the Kings are apparently shopping Kevin Herter. I don't think Kevin Herter fixes this. Bruce Brown, who's on an expiring deal too, so you could re-sign him. Bruce Brown was very big for the Nuggets when they won their championship. He got a bit overpaid by the Toronto Raptors, but he'd be a good pickup. Am I saying he's going to fix the whole team? No, but he's a good pickup. He's a proven championship guy. Um, I'm looking at Isaiah Stewart here. No, I don't think you need another body with Nas and Rudy. Let's see here. Who else we got? Um, Cam Thomas, pretty decent guy, pretty decent player. Perhaps you got a bunch of bigs here. Clint, Walker Kessler, Kevon Looney. You don't need another big. Um, let's see who else we got. It's not as we get closer to the trade deadline, things will pop up, but I don't think that's happening. Um, Kyle Kuzma, no, thank you. I'm not. Kyle Kuzma is just such a hit or miss for me, and I don't think he'd work in Minnesota. James Butler, Jimmy Butler, back to the Minnesota? No. Um, there's always Zion rumors. I don't think that's gonna happen. Um, Jordan Clarkson, another ball handler, another guy. You do need. I wanted to mention this. You do need another guard because Mike Conley is regressing and he's regressed every year and he's probably a great locker room guy, but you need to wrap it up, Mike. You need to put the fries in the bag, bro. No disrespect. I loved Mike Conley when he was on the Grizzlies, but on the Timberwolves, nah. It hasn't been my favorite version of Mike Conley, that's for sure. Um, but Jordan Clarkson could be a guy. He's a bit ball dominant, but he can give you a bucket or two. That might be what you need. Just to compensate for Rudy's just unableness, like just incompetence almost to not be able to put the ball in the basket. You might just have to go all offense and just let Rudy do it. You know, just say, hey, let's try it. We're gonna try it for half a year. Let's see what happens. I don't think that's a bad idea. Jordan Clarkson's a good pick. Um, Zach Levine back to Minnesota? No, big no. No, 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 not on that deal. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, thank you. No, thank you. And the preeminent one that I like, also, before I touch on that, Joey Finney-Smith would be a good one too. Just a random pickup, another guy. Um, could get something else from, especially around the trade deadline. If the Nets want to tank a little bit, you could take some guys off their team and put them in Minnesota. I think it'd be a good team. Um, but back to what I was saying before I cut myself off. The preeminent one that I really like, and maybe wouldn't work basketball wise, but I think to just give it a try, because when you like I said with Carl Anthony Towns, you have to try stuff sometimes. You just have to try it. I think Brandon Ingram, as much as he struggles with his injuries sometimes, as much as like he's inconsistent to an extent, and he has these moments and he has these games and stretches where he's brilliant. I think Brandon Ingram would be nice just to attempt it, just to attempt putting a competent wing, a competent offensive wing next to Ant. Now, does that mean it would essentially be what Mike Conley might have to be in the deal, but Mike Conley, Ant, um, Bi, um, McDaniel's, and Rudy. Is that a Western Conference Finals team? No, but at least it gives your team some hope. Because right now it's feeling a bit hopeless. And just to like go through these numbers, we can start with um, Ant real quick. Um, let's see where we at here. Almost dropped my phone again. Um, Ant's on pace to have his best year as a pro. 27 points per game, 2 points up from last year. His turnovers are down by zero point 0.1, which isn't anything crazy, but his steals are the same. His assists are down. That's obviously because he's carrying more offensive load. His true rebounding is about the same as it's always been, around 5.5, almost 6. Um, his free throw percentage is down. His effective field goal is up a lot, 56%. Um, his 3 point percentage is up, and his attempts are up to 10, almost 11. He's averaging 40. He has 42% on the season so far. His field goal is down, but if his threes are going up, they're going up. That's a great sign for Ant. So Ant's on pace to have his best year as a pro. You look at the guy that they traded for in Julius Randle, and I know he's coming off an injury. It's obviously also a contract year for him. He wants a new contract. Um, he did come off an All Star season last season, right? Yeah, last season. Yeah, he was an All Star. Yeah, he didn't play though. I don't think. His points are down to 21. He's never been known as a real rim protector or anything. Not even a not even a block. His turnovers are down, um, the lowest since his time in New Orleans at 2.8. It's 2.9 this year. Oh, he averaged 2. No, 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 never mind, never mind, never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. And his assists are around the same, around 4 for his whole career, so that's not anything. His true rebounding's down. That's because Rudy's there. His free throw is up to 80%, which is good. I don't think he's never been in his first All Star year as a New York Knick. It was 81, so it's around that. Um, his 2 point percentage is up. His effective field goal is up, on pace to be the second best of his career. Um, his 3 point percentage is 37. Definitely not his best. He could do better, but I'm just saying what the crux of all of this is, in my personal opinion, I think Julius Randle interferes with a lot that Ant does, and it was a bad move to get him. And to end this soliloquy that I've gone on, I just think they need to reshuffle the deck, and I would try to get a head start on it at the trade deadline. And if they still hover around 500 and they go from last year from being in the Western Conference Finals to a play-in team, I wouldn't be surprised. I hope they do better. I really do. I like Ant. I have his shoes. I played a little basketball in my time. I like Ant. I just want the Timberwolves to do right by him because I don't think Minnesota deserves to have their franchise player leave. I don't think that's right. But it's all up to the Timberwolves at the end of the day. So let's get into the NBA schedule real quick. We're at the end of the video. Again, if you liked what I had to say, like the video, please. Tomorrow, Tuesday, December 3rd. Yeah, December 3rd. Damn. Time's flying by. Orlando at Knicks without Paulo. Um, did I say New Orleans? If I did, I meant Orlando. Orlando at the Knicks. I'll take Orlando. Franz Wagner's been playing great. I'll take that. And Golden State at Denver. Man, oh man, Golden State's been on a rough trip, rough road trip. I gotta. I think Steph Curry might play. I don't know. Give me Denver either way, man. I, 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 I how am I gonna say this? I've, I've seen the light. I, I overreacted to the Nuggets. I said it before. I'll say it again. I'm gonna take the Nuggets in this situation, though. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you like the video, like it. There'll be more stuff always on the channel, stuff like this where I just talk about teams. Try not to overreact, but that's the nature of the business, is to overreact, um, and give my takes. So yeah, I will see you guys Wednesday with a review of Tuesday's night's games. All right, thank you for watching. Cheers.